back. This says big segment is gonna be short and sweet. I'm gonna talk about aliens and mental health. This is my health channel, so people were like, "Why would you talk about aliens here?" Well, I don't perceive them the way, let's say, other people do. You know, the concept of aliens is fascinating. I want to kind of keep this short, so I don't want to get too much into it. But basically, you know how it goes. Aliens, either you believe them to be the gods, the creators, the planted star seeds. Maybe was the God of Genesis of the Bible. I'm just going over how the alien concept is perceived. Some people look at them as maybe the hidden rulers of the government, and the naysayers come in and say, "How come you guys can't produce any evidence all this years?" Especially since it's been a lot of this stuff has been jump started since probably in the 40s. You could say the 60s, but the 40s, 50s, you started to see little glimpses of people being interested in the alien phenomenon. So the naysayers will say, "Why haven't you guys produced any evidence?" And I've said a few times that the reason why they haven't is because you're dealing with astral phenomenon. Now, I don't think it was clear enough though, because when I say you're doing astral phenomenon, I don't think people understand you're doing astral phenomenon that is of a lower frequency and it's detrimental for your health. That's the difference. And in the occult circles, this is what people don't really realize. You go to Hermetic circles, Sufi circles, Gnostic and Kabbalistic circles to some extent, they understand, they know about these energies that people are calling Greys and Anunnaki and Palladians. But they never really paid much attention to them because those are energies that usually makes people unstable. And not just that makes people unstable, because you do have some energies that's not negative that can make you unstable if you deal with it too early. That is true. But these energies that people are classifying as alien, they make people unstable. They make people unstable, number one. But number two, they represent basically something that you can't really use it to really alter your physical reality as much. So so it's kind of like they're almost no different than, let's say I'm taking some drugs and I'm hallucinating and I'm like, "Oh shoot, I see this, I see that." Is it real? To some extent. But does it really impact my present reality? Not at all. And in fact, obviously we're taking drugs that can make you unstable. Palladians, Greys, Draconians all represent the same energy. So the reason why I sometimes come down hard on that concept, because I don't think people understand. It's not like a dark magician dealing with the dark arts and then somebody else will say, "Well, the dark arts are not really bad, but you have to know what you're doing." That's different. Aliens is definitely a sign of instability. And that's the problem. And I think when people start to really realize that and start to get into real spirituality, this is why there's a problem. Because the materialists are going to say, if I describe them like how I just did to materialists, who materialists doesn't believe in the astral and the mental plane, don't believe in nothing, right, that they can't see. But then it doesn't really impact your life. It doesn't really make positive changes in your life. Like with yoga, even if a materialist hates meditation, science could confirm that meditation does you good. You benefit from meditation, even scientifically. When you deal with mature spiritual systems, it changes you, to be honest. Even the tarot, you get smarter. Greys and Palladians and all this other type of stuff just represent a distraction. No different than fiction to some extent. And at least with fiction, fiction can still get you to understand abstract thought. Palladians and Greys and aliens, look at everyone who deals with it. They become imbalanced after a while because it's not really even like, it's actually, I'm not gonna lie, it's actually better to be a Christian. Like if you put a gun to my head and said, "Which one would you rather?" Someone who's a Christian who just straight up, no open mindedness, just believes in Christ, and then someone who comes in as a Grey, who's into this Grey and Palladian, Draconian, and Zeta Reticulan and stuff, I would say the Christian. The Christian just needs to be, I didn't want to say converted, because that may be what they are right now in this incarnation. Like they may not have achieved enough spiritual maturity to go past that. But it's still, I know people don't like it, it's still a step in the right direction. Greys and Draconians and Palladians, I'd rather someone be into Spider-Man and Superman, to be honest. These Spider-Man and Superman, you could draw a comic and discuss abstract thought and what this means. There's almost no benefit to those energies. Palladians, Greys, Anunnaki, almost none. And the sad thing is, not only is there no benefit, they then have to hijack real ancient spiritual systems. Like if someone is into Anunnaki stuff, they would have to go to Samaria, but then actually see Anunnaki started Egypt just to give, especially with the Egyptian part, to give it kind of like validation that's real, because they can't really produce anything historically themselves. So they have to go hijack probably other systems that the creators of those systems might know about them. Like most people don't realize real yoga knows about aliens, to be honest. Real yoga knows about astral traveling and going to different realms and going to different planets and systems. That's a concept that's covered in real yoga. The difference, though, is that the first fundamental principle of real yoga is to understand the true nature of your reality and get your higher intelligence to become activated again. And then you use that because your higher intelligence is a reflection of the God principle or God. And you use that to bond with that energy. That's the first primary thing that yoga and systems like Kabbalah try to do. Whereas when you get into the Palladian Star Atlantis, what does that mean spiritually? What does it mean historically? Nothing. And then it gives the person a false sense of enlightenment, which could be detrimental because the person doesn't really realize how unstable they seem. And that's why when you go to every real occult teacher, every single one of them, they never mention aliens at all. Because it's not that it's not real. It's not really, it's like me falling in feces and I'm covering my face and I'm bragging about it. It's like, doesn't really mean anything. It actually means that, well, you know what it actually means as a healer? Because this channel is a health channel. It means as a healer, you got to actually clean that energy out. If you're into that, there's nothing wrong with that per se. You could change it, but you got to clean that out. Because if you want to really progress in real spirituality, you're going to have a problem. So I hope that helps. Till next time. Peace.